Dat I da the more do de ben and art so de goyos kas na din do ana din shlai hagon yat gedini dol khroyet neban da Dr. Nygren I da hoje na holji horoshi hawroljish di the more be tostet din do tra na khide nebeje ke sabik na hodi ni ba na holjis de bena be holjis do de nebejiya al ingi be aski ilde hade shi de ne yina nistine di jike ye bilkho at ego ye ahe hozi haisha bebiga yidi zil di jike bama beje do yelke hatini yayiz bebe at zil ye yinniya Aden hitje kent renisha begeg ad nachaho alto be astana idlini ye nacha sezingo kodohol jish nschago ba nitzen ba nechilchojo nechika elwood nishi hoto akonda hanne the more be salau but ade ba hanne naide kid the nedo be da hausen do china da haust ba china hodot al the nebesalau but ando the neda hikapikeya bakagi bela ashtla do be da hausinda jenne honne eltigo ne Chanson Tyler Kenny Disdin doba asla benache alkeri tsane da ben and antsoze na din doba se bi yol khalle da le tse helle adishin akedi tsande khanne lan khilbe hozin goe hoje sala bejin hatosle na haste na ke se bi tsostit alla hastra alla adol Jefferson Williams ben hostin dot hadast Nahdo ni ado Rory Mantis Jim lobena hosten dot hadalt nahdo ni ado Jamie Renee Whitehorse bena hosten dot hadalt hodo ni hoto o chegi khadole ado honena ngi admo na otles bi asahaj bena edikid Nez na tin dob nez na allahn da atle bis nachas also betra achede stas din ni gombe hos ab na din dob na din shla ikhapi gonne ado ne da pa na anda alte hode na khanna to nigo aden khade shas ni hikayat ne da slabel hos ago ne khaz do gas no zigo shayke da aleg bich da hotosne digi besh behnegi nahast nakke sebi sostid alla sostid nazmas hotoshin kitchen hatosne honne nanagi allahanda atle ko tradisha ko allat atkesti ben naidekid atkin ben don nish noda naidekid den atkin ikidades bitchin da holne ashla nazbas ashla tra sostid alla sebi tra di atkin ben naidolkid nalso sadadelne nilchibin annishe biyij da dol trashoda hoto www.navajo.org ishin hoto bi da dol trash den atkin ikidades bil khazanij ado na edikid dolel dal grey atkin la khebe boholni la When so shina idikitlesatem atkin dat khawanje atkin Washington dat ikidez hata has soj dat ikidez do the atkin ikidez do ta hawanje ya atahalia da no da shina idikitlem shin khallahanda atle bilta hosne atkin dat nakha yin da dolnish to hot on idikitolel hot edolel Ado hone nanige ina binna niltin na hoche do oslejda o josto dolat yada be etzil akhwates ze do ina salam binna niltin at tlahonil dot on ji gotda yada ta akon ninaj de do na do bakata naj de do tal be khol zelgo ta naj de do tal hoto ina bin niltin Aruhne nanigi altso hast edat za na din la de milen sa beso kinletso sinildo ayana betro min anishie do lil de nena ne George to beda enish bil achinet ego billato ye dios nas biniye di ha ilt ode nake be hahode dol nil troshjen sa la ne do nesto ade des din do ante bi des is go tro ba nada dotse alla de mil de neke hat inge bin and ant ozna din se bi yos kalien da kinletsosen nilgo nsikre ade neka da ndal nesto bekage yishtle ze il inigi da des ingi age a large tro dej aton yindal nishki e ade ndal nish da inish denil il tot adat nizago be onish nihedene betrako tro das lingo queen zoy are gal tradadit and hun nangi bin and ants ozna din se biol kalada yo trone benat ani Michelle Lumhan Grisham do bet apetro do nat ani tratnas lildan linigi ashladin dob an hast de milen sa beso bahas ligo atin jono khahadelia ashladin kaya khahodzo be atin hastradin di be wajigo atin be hast edalia ba hehuin zen bet abetro ahidi kreigi di be ahiltso nihinat ani do hada hastodonat ani bil alhil kai jego atin tel anaholia lanat ani dan linigi enle yo troje bil khahot zoje aye hawan Anthony Allison da si yego yinash nishtok ani tananes dahigi da Joseph Hernandez dat agi eoto ba khni zendo qada khanas dan linigi da njgono daholia doy kedat o hot o ar lahni tlinde boshki hashtadalia atkin asni go to wolgo dalia be hozen go das nil ade to das lene hashtadalia tost sensetrago ba akhni zen sodezen be haot zi atkin nalia bakago njgonego na alte to ado ayahol ni heto be nas na ol tatole Arhon nanigi bin ant ozna din hast yol khal na kin naha hast twisani be atel ha hodel ne do atra hodel ze ba he winzen bil ahilte dina kidnezan din do ba thatin hast twisani betra niya bil khon shlond hast twisani ba ahya la benanet ago be nada donish be so nas na hido nil do allanda atle anni di labka anna hat indo le benach haseko haz'a atra khozdel tsi do ke hat inje yil ahidaz hast twisani do ba huyos nata do allanda atle yene he yilni be bil khulzelgo na haz'a deneda he ka bekeya bakagi Arhon nangi bin ant so trago yos kalko ze njon no setle khowan ke da had ini yahos ad betrahon shlonde na kede de mil tsin be na atkel ndezni sost de mil ke dot se bi de mil dob ashla de nezna din await al ndezni Acheha belta hil sodigi Rolling Thunder Baby to Baby For Kinship Core Cheers for Che Make Life Skate Life Dabat noda eoto yego EJ dita hojet ego dot ode nene ban alte bet altsroje be atrahuyol na sen be na athil be khaya ho ago ajit egi be ata akwjnidzin do lel dog at no sele ye hina do hone nanigi na din no na din shla ikha Cody Jesus Dolanal Gedil Khos Dean C. Jackson Arena na Khoche na Atlehigi Shibebiga Nishligo illa Benach amma jaba alchine yil Allah salni ye et ego hinani do yilke had ini yil yahe nizengo dabina tkelchinit hodil tla benina annas zin de qad be aholia bohne zago nehinas be elia altsro ba alchin no selledot huyani na hoche belat et ego de neppe bezili bebe ol in do ye bezilgo da na de no tas da honne nanigi etkisti bin da ajnishto beda inish de neda he kato child haven was yego yes a hilt so na din as he il keden da annis skil godne as chine yaje bit hodi na be an alro beniye na holia asa de mil sa doba anast din doba din de mil beso hanana zo o honnish ranj be indonish alchin ya holi do ye hajo atil khahod dolni dit aha banani trago beta donish donide hajo alchine ye khade do nil bebil khahod dol nilki ba kohwin zindole do hunenanigi li da alchine teli da alchine anel hajo be hozindo beniye na kinez na din do ba na din de mil do ba na din shla beso atsa be hui na da hekato bandinet chedenat ye de nol il ha eki la nda kre ben and ozna din shlago yos khale da kholji don le woj in tadin alla na din do ba na din hastra yos khalche inda dil nishtene da heka bekeya ashlago hotzo bekagi dinas kai bek eko ben don Nzakes ben anish dot an hidden bebe all ilk echo a hodol nil ad honenanigi bin and oze na din hast yol kal ni na nizad be asla na atle benat ani bil asla sidli hawan be huyol nal atkin do tohndala beke do khada hodel ne di ya yaltki ben hiji na hot idan ado akwa ke hat ini ya bin sa ani chid hawanda niligi keya hada hat zo de bebenal sauce arpa triple R di la hate ego chon hajo ben khilkhosn di ya hat zi shandal nishint ne da khato large dan da haz tra ad ya hat zi ye dol wasbik eko do na nishnas hodol nil da nego sad na da yisnil hunenanigi de neda heka no ka nal de hi yesndal nishim yelahil so choshkei Zilbanki Shashlejin Hinani Nalka to Lestanigo Hastradin doba tost de mil doba hastrade nes natin doba desdin na kepeso bebil asradnit de nedahi kato so do nal tlonshi alchini yikidez do anasaze is natach keya ya khalian allaj ye yiltadesh nish shashla hanel ke khatila tenne bebe ol in shash bil ahinit babek anna hotol nil do shash tenne yil alchi nenatel la het ego atol nil di bene keya ba ahuiliado ba nichit do lel nehidene nehik Donald Lonshi alchine nehil be hozengo be nehe ina nehe all in be ba konidzen honenanigi de nedahika wimspire dahika yiltra na khego elgadet alchine abetra ego na halai baka dol wolto da nejja ba hazado lel ade bel ishjan atahulzen do lel di جاء بكا النت الغو دو يندال نش بأهيل صور الچن أشتلا do tse bitsata benache bekaanda alwo nche ol in do huye go be anita alwo benia be ndonish aket esti be inado be natkin nsaha kes khadalne be natkin do ultra benahata be ahodol nilje Arolunle Washington kan kuya sinde zedob ayda Rika biniyen also khadadilne naholla noye khodisa nit a bata holnya do khadahod legi jodi letso biniye khadadilne di letso bezo nishgij be beso be khaz anigi be na asli qad agadit ay bel khaz age Rika nilchi بخن الإنجي نلشت صو تدين دالنا دين وبأنا دين صوص بأ دولة إيشي كنا تسكين لو خنادة دولة هو يندا دي تخنا خبي لنا أصلي خداي دا بجنا هو جش دولة ابننا هذا خدت كهيجي تيلون خد هذا اللت أشهد أبي أتاخد تحصيا هتين هيبيو تشيدي دو بن أطلع غديت دل إنجي نهي كايشي دانون لان دا أو كات إبا صوتك دنتو هي كات إدو بكاس لاغو خد دلنا إشي باندنو تارل دنتا هي كاتولا بسن دهزا دولة هون نانجي الخيدة هجول زين بن انت صوزنا دي نهست يول كال شدو أسنا ألتسه نهت أيس زنجي Jasmine Blackwater Nygren at the netting shashk epil a hiddi need do a hehe koetsagan hot zanegi nacha inia kon the net heka bekeya bekago negral a whole lili bedi need the net ke da hat inj atina kines natin doba hast hatin be wotje be bankoya da honagan also ayi ej be anet hast in hel isjan أيلا بلغانك أتبجي بيرسون بدتنو هودين خانية دوبس كدوشني دو هي جونية بدشنوية نخانية دو هننا نجي بن انت صوز ناتين سيبي يولكال شدو استا السن حتى يسزن Jasmine Blackwater Nygren بلجي هوتسو دمو كي هات انكي تخات سنستراغو اتنتين جادك أتخا هوني دلوند أبنغو أتو تلاسي بنيج بخيول نالتو بناستو هوكوس وينزو تخديد آج أدول تخل بأتيس تخا يأخوت سودزن هودن بباجت دو كون نجغا بأتزيل دو أتخاولتزل خدنا دو بتنخغنجي هننانجي بانا دخويل جيش ناتين دو بانا دين اشتلاقيخا تندهيكا دو ني بانا خول جيج بن انت صو تأسا دو تصوصج بانديل تي نخاجي كا تأسا تموج نين بالخو ناخوخي أتصوص بأجزش دلني يندانه دنج أجزش دو با تهونين بخاودنه دمو يجب نتاعصو خستخاغو نتسبيدغو هالجيش كنت هدينه وصه لغو نألچن بلتنهي غنين دو نكي بل خود نبيعول إيل بلكي هونت إيني بل نيني أدادو سليل اندوك أدي آيتا آج ناول كد خدو يب دنبنن دكتور بو نايغرن خجنا هو الجيشو أشو هنن كجينيش آي يسدين ندبان دا ديل تيجي هجو هالكداد نوت دو ييغون كالشن بعد خوليا أيو تسكي لو تخدا دليدو تهندا ديل ويجي أهو يندا شدو بدا هتزدو خوادا دنبلن دا أجيجي لان كالشن تخون نقلا دو وينزو آي يسخدو هنن كجيش لادو لي دي هجم ناخوخي بان ديل تيجي دو أهوت أوشين جغنو نزغارش لان ندا إلتي أهوت إندم ساشيدون خدا بيغا تند توشين خدن خيدل نيت أهوت إندم Yat in Kidini do Leto Hehem, a yo, Bonet Lo Hodam Juno Sad, Nadi Neso, Hodohan and Hitchendale Ingim, Yat Eho, Dada Hosliado, Hodo in Juno, Hansis Kesto, Hajos Khan de Chato, Sad yo, Nenigido Sad be Halcheho, Netligido Sad, Haishi be, Alchehos Senigi, A Eden Juno be Alchiadil Tisem, Satashich in Nada, Kahoeshan and Hehem, I say Yego Yilt the same, Treben Ye, Kehodini. Dil nishbiniye ani nanadon jono ultra in ladon an nishbizil bket khadinya kadinat ani lajen khanil ahot o yegon khail nish dadon nodash nadaka hotel ya siyo ba hinsen hot o dash nadaka to nadat soda dil zinda dadon noda yo shjena isnasem khadole ana khoroshi dole ya si dada hosliado elkidan not ido yo sade bechi yadaltigo nasko nani Catalil Hagone and Hidini Dolit, the more nasty Goshidolil.
Good afternoon. I hope everybody can hear me. I hope all my connections are coming through loud and clear. Shay, Stephen, Brian, Etsidi, and Shea. I am the Executive Director for the Navajo Nation Environmental Protection Agency. Tohe glini nishle aro ashihe edish ya totsotni edish che aro todich itni edish nalla with adnenshle. I have been traveling across the Navajo Nation over the last several weeks. It's been a real pleasure to try and keep up with President Nygren's outreach and leadership meetings with the chapter officials and people out in the communities. I know that the president has started this, and we already have about a dozen chapters that have been discussions with and talking about their local issues and concerns. I myself have been out to Aneth chapter several times. I went to Crown Point chapter with the president, and then to Little Water chapter, a chapter that I've driven by a lot of times but never actually visited. So it was a really great opportunity to go out to Delegate George Tolth's chapter out there, one of the several that he represents, and to listen to the concerns that they have and try and assure them that their concerns regarding illegal dumping and access to water issues will be handled and addressed by our folks here at work in the Navajo Nation Environmental Protection Agency. Last week, I also had to go to the city of Albuquerque for a meeting. And then when I was done on Friday with that meeting around noontime, I had to get up to Ninatnazad chapter to again meet up with the president and our leadership team with all the issues that the Ninatnazad chapter wanted to communicate to us. Gave me a great opportunity to drive up that highway that borders our eastern Navajo lands. Gave me another opportunity to drive near the chapters of Counselor, Ojo Encino, Torreon, drive through Ditli area and on up as I made my way to Ninatnazad. We know we have a lot of concerns regarding air quality. I'd like to focus on air quality issues in my report today. I wanted to let you know that when we sat at the community with Ninatnazad, we've been very aware of their air quality concerns over the years. We know that they have been a great host to the Four Corners Power Plant. And we also know that for years they also were right next door to the San Juan Generating Station, another coal-fired power plant just off of the Navajo Nation to the north of the river there at Ninatnazad. in the state of New Mexico. So we've been very aware of a lot of the long-term issues that people, not only in Nazad, but all up and down the river there in that area with air quality concerns. So we were up again in their chapter, listening to some of their issues last week, and wanted to just give you a little highlight. We do not only regulate major sources of air pollutants from facilities like the Four Corners Power Plant and some of the compressor stations that help push natural gas across the Navajo Nation through the natural gas pipelines. But the Navajo Nation has also been working over the last several years to put in place another regulatory permitting program to address smaller sources of air emissions. And we call this minor sources. And that was one of the great things we had an opportunity to share with the Nahnazad chapter. Um, and I'd like to just update you on where we stand with that. In the last written quarterly report that we submitted to the office of the president and then passed over to our legislative branch and the council during the summer session in July, we told everybody that we had submitted a very important application request to the federal government, to the United States Environmental Protection Agency. We're requesting for treatment as a state so that we can continue to implement um, the minor source program regulations. These regulations were developed here within Navajo EPA air quality programs in 2022, 2023, and in 2024, they were actually approved by the Resources and Development Committee on September 19th, 2024. And since that time, we've been getting ready to apply for this treatment as state designation from the federal government. So currently, the federal government has the responsibility to regulate these minor sources under the tribal new source review for minor sources. We are now requesting the federal government to pass that responsibility to us. So that's what this treatment estate application is all about. And we've done this several times before. We do have what's called delegations of authority from US EPA to Navajo EPA, and we've been running more and more programs in lieu or in the place of the federal government, doing that here with our own staff and our own capability to write permits, to inspect facilities, and to handle the enforcement if there are found to be violations. So here's another program called the Tribal Minor Source Permitting Program that we're going to be assuming the lead for. I wanted to let you know that all this year, there have been several deadlines uh, targeting the entities that would fall under this new program. And we've been asking those people to step forward and identify themselves to us and begin registering for this program. And so far, we have about 123 entities that have registered as potential permits that will be issued, that they'll have to apply for, and that we will issue to them. And these are smaller sources of emissions. It's much smaller than like a coal-fired power plant. We are looking to put facilities that operate oil and natural gas facilities, and through their processes emit pollutants into the air into this program. We're also looking at gasoline dispensing facilities. If you've ever pumped your own gas, you know that there's all these vapors that can come out of the pipe there and the hoses as you transmit gas from the dispenser into your vehicles. Those are called volatile organic compounds, and there's all kinds of chemicals that can be emitted into the air. Our minor source program is going to cover those types of emissions as well. So We do have outreach that we're doing to all entities that would be subject to these regulations. And as I said earlier, so far we have 123 entities that have registered for this program, and we will probably have several more. One of the important things about doing all of this is that we want to hear from not only the people that we plan to regulate or that we will be regulating, but we also want to hear from the communities. I do know that when I was up for confirmation, that there was a lot of concern from the Eastern Agency communities of Torreon, Ojo Encino, and Counselor about putting this program in place. And so I'm happy that we're going to be addressing this concern that was raised from the very beginning of my second time here at EPA director and leadership over this division. So once again, we are going to be allowing and providing an opportunity to hear from everybody on this, meaning that when we do these types of actions, we put out public notices, we alert the public as well. We are planning to have public hearings on this matter. So if you go to our website, and here's a picture of printout of our webpage, and you go to this section here where it says Air and Toxics Department, you press that button, you can find your way to the actual page for our air quality control program. You can get all the information that's happening for this set of regulations and what I've just been talking about. And then we'll be posting very soon more information about the scheduled public hearings. Right now, we have two of them that will be happening next month in October. October 22nd, and we look to have a public hearing in the Aneth chapter at the Aneth chapter house. And then on October 24th, a public hearing at Ninath Nazad chapter house. We're also looking into adding a third public hearing, which could be located around the Counselor, Ojo Encino, and uh, Torreon chapter areas. So right now we have two of them scheduled. So we will be providing a lot of information about this new regulatory program and what will happen as we bring all of these hundreds of facilities under this new permitting program, and what the communities can do to continue to provide input as we start to regulate the air emissions from these much smaller sources. So I just want to let you know that I really appreciate all the hard work that our Navajo Nation Environmental Protection Agency air quality technical staff are doing to further take control over these programs and to serve the regulated community as well as the general population to ensure that we're doing everything we can to monitor our air quality, to make corrections when we find problems, and to continue on a path forward where our air quality is good and that we uh, don't have to worry as much about how these pollutants might affect our public health going forward. So that's the core of our mission here at Navajo EPA: protect the environment, protect public health. And so I just want to thank you for your attention and allowing me to update you on this one specific area that we've been doing a lot of work in over the last years. And I want to assure you that our information about the quality of our air will always be available from our programs, either from our website or calling into our offices. And on our website, you can always download the latest and updated listing of all of our staff and their phone numbers and email addresses. Lastly, I just want to say, on the occasion of our annual Navajo Nation Fair, I express my happiness and joy and excitement that everybody coming to Window Rock for the next several days has a very enjoyable time and does it in a safe manner. always looking out for one another and doing everything we can to make it safely through the next several days. I look forward to being with President Nygren, First Lady Jasmine Nygren, and all of my colleagues in leadership here on the Navajo Nation as we get ready to do the parade on Saturday. So, yate, and we'll see you on the street, on the road during the parade on Saturday morning. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. Candace Yazzie here, Division of Community Development Director. Candace Yazzie and Chia, Toda Jitni Nishle, Nanastasia Tachitni, Habashishi, Kidlachi Dashanella, Nashasha Dashache. I'm excited to be here. Today's Thursday, September 4th. It's 1:35, and I was asked to give updates on what the Division of Community Development has been working on, and more specifically, what I have been working on. It's been a really busy month of August, and including getting sick. Finally, I haven't been sick since I started in January, but I handled it. I'm feeling better. I'm back in the office. 7 to 7 is what we've been doing, or I've been doing, and it's a lot of work, but I'm learning. I'm enjoying it. I want to thank my family for being able to handle all of the family stuff that needs to be done without me. Okay, so for the month of August, there's quite a bit of traveling that we've been doing. I've created a binder for all the chapter visits, and a lot of the visits that we're doing with the president are one-on-one with chapter officials and the staff. And a lot of the questions that are coming to Division of Community Development, of course, are projects. A lot of the vice presidents, the presidents, the secretaries, the community service coordinators are asking really good questions about the projects. What's interesting about how the Division of Community Development and chapters and officials are structured is the Division of Community Development has staff within the Department of Administrative Services Center, or the ASC. So the ASC Center staff assist. They're technical assistants and administrative workers for chapters. However, what I'm noticing as I'm going around are that a lot of the community service coordinators and possibly the AOs, administrative assistants, are assisting with projects. And what I'm realizing is there's still a lot of support needed. So going to quite a few chapters. I believe we went to Twin Lakes. We went to Crown Point. I even ran in a 5K with President at Smith Lake. That was really fun. Then we've gone to I think they were Indian Wells, and then Sawmill. So that's 5 right there that we've been through in August. Aside from those visits, the community development, I asked our staff to begin reaching out to chapter officials. So for the month of August, our department managers, so remember we have 6 departments. Each of the department heads, we went to different locations throughout the res. We started in Tuba City, and those region chapters, which I believe there might be 15 or 16 of them in Tuba City, we met, and each department gave updates on what they've been working on. And each region had different topics, different questions, different sections of our departments that were longer than others. For example, in the Northern Agency, a lot of the questions involved projects, whereas in Tuba City, a lot of the questions were about solid waste. So a variety, but the goal was to get DCD out there and get questions answered that they had, and really understand, refocus what we needed to be working on. And what I learned was that, obviously, because of our amount of money that's sitting there that needs to be spent, it's projects. So what transpired as a result is DCD working on creating an online help session. And that's going to be really good for the CSCs who are working on projects, the vice presidents who want to understand and know their projects, but also get project managers, entire DCD staff really online to start helping out more and trying to best decide or help via online services. Granted, we understand that not everyone's going to be able to do that. And that's where that communication comes in from the CSC, is DCD assisting and understanding that portion. And that came about because as our different departments were talking, the technology IT division within the DCD admin does hold help sessions 4 hours a week. So I believe Tuesday from 8 to 10 and then Thursday from 10 to 12. And I thought that was innovative. I thought that was something that the rest of the departments could be doing. So we're implementing that. So if you go to our website, you should be able to get on. They are scheduled on the DCD website. So I thought that was a great idea. So the chapter visits we were working on, and then with the president, myself, with the president, and then also myself with agency chapter regions, all of the departments. So the month of August, that's what we had been focusing on. So the other thing I wanted to share with you, there are a couple things actually. Navajo, there are two. When somebody says CIP, they're talking about the capital improvement plan. The capital improvement plan is right here. I'm going to show you what the cover sheet looks like. This capital improvement plan is actually on the DCD website. It's dated August 25th. And if you go to the DCD website and you scroll down to, I believe it's monthly reports. I'm just going to check really quick. You go there, you're going to find the capital improvement plan. And what's cool about the capital improvement plan is it got approved by RDC. It got approved last week. So the staff was able to put it together. And this is important because it plays into the priorities of the chapters. I was able to relay this information to, I want to say, Sawmill chapter. And at the time, I'm just going to pick an example if you want to pull through it. No, Indian Wells. Indian Wells inputted 10 projects for their CIP, which totaled $6,196,681. Their first priority was economic commercial development, and they said 1.3 million is what they need for 10 acres. So if you're curious about what your chapter put into the capital improvement plan, I would go to our website and check it out. So let me give you another example because I thought it was really neat to understand how many is there, how much money is there. Sawmill chapter also has 10 projects, and their total was $7,883,937. So their first priority is their senior citizens center for Sawmill community at $1,333,800. So yeah, let me try to get that website. Let me see if I can join the chat. I can't join the chat. So go to www.nndic.org dcd.org, and you're going to find that capital improvement plan in there. I'm just going to try to go to it really quick because I want to make sure it's there. Okay, chapters. Okay, I should have practiced before. Anyway, I'll go into the live and type in the website. But check that out. That's the CIP. It was approved by RDC committee. I want to say last week. I wasn't there because I was with the president. But Miss Charlene Jeff and Michelle Peterson were there to present the information, and it's really good information. The other thing I wanted to mention that's important for chapters, and you as well, this is my copy, it has a big note on it that says it's my copy, is the Capital Improvement Office, Division of Community Development, Infrastructure and Capital Improvement Policies and Procedures. There's no date on here, but this is the last one that the Division of Community Development has. And if you are curious what the processes are, go to that, and it's also on our website. And what you're going to find is if you want to build a chapter house, you're going to see how to do it and what has been approved as the policy and procedure. And I thought this was good information because a lot of the information that's asked is there. So that is the Capital Improvement Office, Infrastructure and Capital Improvement Policies and Procedures. So between that book and then the latest capital improvement plan that was approved, these two go hand in hand. With that said, the other thing I'd like to update you on is so the capital improvement plan was approved recently. DCD is still moving along with the CHID ARPA funded homes. I think last time I was on here, we were at 95 homes installed. We are now, I think at the end of this week, we're going to be at 104. We are working on, yesterday I received a expenditure amendment to the section 11 that moves dollars from delegate regions for 2 delegates. They're moving money from section 11 FRF to section 10 ARPA CHID homes. So that, triggers a whole nother process, and DCD team working on how does that happen? When do we do it? We got to get these work orders out. We got to get site assessments done. We got to talk to chapter officials, so on and so forth. So there's a big coordination effort that moves forward from here. Let's see, how am I doing on time? Okay. Now, as it relates to any project, the DCD has many. We have so many projects. Let me just give an example. ARPA CHID homes, last I recall, Mr. Dagai indicated he had received over 1,500 applicants. So if you think in terms of construction, that means 1,500 projects. So you got to think about 1,500 files. You got to think about 1,500 contracts, 1,500 different conditions. So that's the gravity of the ARPA CHID. Now, if we talk, pay attention to the funding source. That is the funding source. Another funding source is capital outlay, and DCD receives different funding from different states, and they call it external funding. So New Mexico offers dollars to Navajo Nation. If you apply, then there's all these processes. Then the state of Arizona. This morning, I was in a meeting to assist with writing an RFP for some Arizona capital outlay funding. So a team of us are working on it. It's just not myself. There's a team of us in the room looking at the 20-page document, making sure that all of our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed with the intention of the RFP, realizing the funding source. So it's really a lot of work. And remember, I talked about 1,500 with ARPA-CHID applicants and possible projects. Well, I spent 3 hours this morning on this RFP with a group of people for one project. So think of that in terms of projects, times, and dollar values. It's a lot. With that said, capital outlay has a lot of processes. I'm looking at a document here that shows what the process is for capital outlay. And I'm just going to move this up a little bit so you can see it. But for item number 1, chapters, and I'm talking about the capital outlay for New Mexico. So the first step, I'm just going to read through the first step. The first step is, as a chapter or anybody really, meaning private, even a private person can request funding from capital outlay dollars from the state of New Mexico, but it has to be for a community. That's what the dollars are for, is for community usage. So for example, if you wanted to do like a gymnasium for your neighborhood, they might assist you with providing dollars just for some infrastructure. So that's the purpose of capital outlay, is community development. But what I wanted to emphasize was, I talked about the CIP earlier, Navajo Nation. Well, New Mexico has a CIP, but they call it a New Mexico ICIP. And that is good for 5 years. The Navajo Nation CIP is good for 6 years, I believe, is what's written. So a lot of fine line reading you have to do to understand this. So step 1 of New Mexico capital outlay is you have to develop your capital improvement plan, or ICIP. So you have to have that plan, and you have to list your top 3 projects, and you submit it online to the New Mexico legislators. Then they approve or disapprove. Then the request is sent to the New Mexico governor for final decision. That's the first step. So I just wanted to share that with you all. We're working very hard on processes, on getting things documented, getting updates to chapters, and we're going to keep moving along as time continues. I appreciate everybody for listening to me, and you will see me back here in another few weeks.